This tutorial explains how to sample true random numbers from atmospheric noise using the random package in the R programming language. So without too much talk, let's dive into the R code. In this video, I will show you different examples on how to use the functions of the random package. However, before we can use those functions, we first need to install and load the random package, as you can see in lines 2 and 3 of the code. I have installed the package already, so for that reason I'm just going to load it, as you can see in line 3. And after running this line of code, we can use the functions of the random package. So in the first example of this tutorial, I want to show you how to use the randomNumbers function to create a matrix of random numbers. And within the randomNumbers function, we need to specify the number of cases that we want to generate. Then we need to specify the minimum value and the maximum value of our random numbers. And we need to specify the columns of our output dataset. So in this case, I'm creating 4 columns. So if you run lines 5 to 8 of the code, you can see at the top right of RStudio that a new dataset is appearing, which is called data1. And we can print the head of this dataset by running line 9 of the code. And then you can see at the bottom that we have created a random dataset containing 4 different columns. And the important thing of this random dataset is that these random values are true random values, instead of pseudo-random values as we would usually create with the regular R programming functions. So even if you would set a random seed, the output of this function would always be different. So I can demonstrate that by setting a seed. So usually if we would now apply the regular R programming functions, always the same output would be returned. However, if we use the random package, the output is always different because we are creating true random values. So let's set our seed and then let's run the randomNumbers function once again. So if we do that, you can see that another output is returned. And usually if we would set the seed once again and run the random generation process once again as well, then the same output should be returned. However, this time the output is different, as you can see by comparing those two datasets. So this is the strength of the random package, that it generates true random values. And in this first example, I have explained how to generate random values using the randomNumbers function. However, the random package also provides other functions that we can use to generate random values, such as the randomSequence function, as you can see in lines 11 to 13 of the code. And within this function, we need to specify the minimum value and the maximum value once again, and the number of columns. However, this time we don't have to specify the number of cases. So if you run these lines of code, you can see that another dataset is appearing at the top right, which is called data2. And we can print the head of this dataset as well by running line 14 of the code. And then you can see that our dataset contains only 3 rows, and it contains the values 5 to 10, and these values are ordered randomly. So if we run the functions once again, you can see that the output is different. We can also use the randomStrings function, as you can see in lines 16 to 17 of the code, to create random character strings. And within this function, we need to specify the number of character strings that we want to create, and we need to specify the length of each character string. And then we are also using the as.vector function to convert the output to a vector object. So if we run lines 16 and 17 of the code, a new vector is appearing at the top right, which is called vec1. And we can print this vector to the bottom in the RStudio console by running line 18 of the code. And then you can see that we have generated 7 different character strings, and each of these character strings contains 3 different characters. That's all I wanted to explain in this video. In case you want to learn more on this topic, you may check out my homepage, statisticsglobe.com, because on my homepage I have recently published a tutorial in which I'm explaining the content of this video in some more detail. I will put a link to this tutorial into the description of the video, so you can find it there. If you have liked this video or if you have any questions, let me know in the comments section below. I'll try to respond to all comments as soon as I can. Furthermore, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel to get notified about future video releases. I have already published about 500 videos on this channel and I'm releasing new videos on a daily basis. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next video.